Welcome back, YouTube friends. I'm back with another video, hopefully another repair video. I have on the bench a power supply again, a Hewlett-Packard E3612A. I bought this supposedly non-working. I have not tried to turn it on yet. I was going to do that on camera. I was going to do the unboxing on camera, but I thought maybe that was a bit much. People probably do not like to watch things come out of boxes like that. Not very often anyway. So I don't really need a lot of other supplies, but I bought it to do a video. But also because of the voltage range of this supply, I've got supplies that go up to I think 40 volts is the highest voltage I have, and this is supposed to go up to 120. It has two ranges, 0 to 60 and 0 to 120. 0 to 60 is at half an amp, 0 to 120 at a quarter of an amp. And I thought maybe that might be useful for some project in the future, because I don't have anything that will go up that high. Not supposed to be working. We're going to find out. I do have the schematic to it, and maybe I'll get to use it. So let's turn it on and see what happens. Looks like it's going to maximum voltage. See if I can. Yep. She's going wide open maximum voltage. I'm going to turn it off. Went to 155 volts, which is probably whatever the rectifier and filter are putting out. So, it didn't seem to respond to the voltage control. I hate to leave it on very long. I could try the other range. Let's see. That was pushed in. That was the quarter amp. I smell something funny. Yep, there's a slight acrid smell. So before I go any further, let's pop the cover off this thing and see what looks. You know what that smells like? It smells like capacitor juice, capacitor electrolyte. That's what that smells like. Okay, let's see what's in there. Yeah, I have no idea how to get into this thing. I don't see any screws anywhere. I do see some slots where you could put like a screwdriver to. I wonder, yeah. I bet this rear piece is like a trim piece. It's got like a screwdriver slot here, and on the bottom side, and maybe the screws are behind that. Sounds like a good theory anyway. Oh, that stinks. That stinks. That does not seem to be making any progress. I was just guessing. That does not seem. I hate to bust that plastic, because I mean physically it looks great. There's no really terrible scratches to it. It's not really dirty. I really hate to scuff it up if I don't have to, but it's got to come apart somehow. I do have the manual. I guess I could, last resort, consult the manual. Because nothing is wait a minute, what about these feet? There's only two of them though. Looks like you have at least four. Of course it could be hooked up under the front cover. It even has the feet intact. You gotta love that. I'm trying to look down through the slots in it and see. I don't really see like a mounting stud going all the way through there. Of course, I can't see really well down in there. Okay, I'm gonna give up and consult the manual. Well, the owner's manual was no help whatsoever. The service manual. Nothing. So I had to resort to searching pictures on the internet for people who had their the inside shots of the case of the supply, and finally determined that this end ring had to come off somehow. And all you had to do was just kind of slightly twist it a little, and it popped right out. So easy, I'm glad I didn't go happy with the screwdriver too much. So I would have ruined something. And this thing is still putting off a nasty smell. Now what? Now what? I don't think it's just tucked in here in the front. It is fighting all the way. There we go. Screwdriver did help on the front, just a little. Okay, let's see what we have here. Not sure how well you can see that. Let me get some light on it. And okay, I started to say I don't see anything, but I do see something. This capacitor right here appears to have spewed its guts out, and it has run all over the circuit board. It is a 330 microfarad at 35 volts, a Nichicon, good brand, and I'm not sure if this thing was standing on its edge somewhere because the electrolyte's kind of wicked this way. And come to think of it, it looks like it's gotten up under this a large, I don't know if it's an op amp or what that is. It says Q2, a transistor, I guess, but I see corrosion up under there. Right up under there. I'll move the camera and get a good close-up shot of it. Okay, here's a close-up shot. I guess you can see that sheen on those components there. I have to clean all that off. And you can kind of see up under that capacitor there where it has spewed. What's worrying me is this transistor here. I hope it's nothing that's unobtainium. But it looks like it's got some corrosion going on under it. So maybe that's it. Maybe just a good cleanup job. Replace some leaky caps. And I mean, there's no smoke, no soot. You know, this is not like nothing like a bad transformer where you can't get something. But so let me see what get a close-up view of this transistor. I haven't gotten the number off of it yet. Focus. There we are. That does not look like a standard number. I wonder if that's going to be got a Motorola stamp on it. Q2. Let me see if I can look up that number. May not be anything wrong with it, but I see corrosion right beside it there. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks. Let's see. Okay, here's a top-down view. Let me move this camera a little. Hopefully we can see. So I know it's got a little bit of a glare on it. I've moved the light around, trying to improve that. I'm going to start, I think, by removing that capacitor so I can see up under it. See where it is. It is right here. Bottom side of the board looks good. No burn traces or anything. Let's see. Okay. See if I got it loose enough. Nope, I did not. It's still barely stuck. That got it. Let me make sure it's marked, the polarity. Surely it is. Well, negative was towards me. Looks like they've got a white mark where negative is. And it has made quite a mess. Unusual. It's a Nichicon 105C. Wow. 330. I don't think I've got any of those on hand, but anyway, for right now, we're just seeing where all the damage went. Looks like I may have to adjust the camera just a little. That's better. So that IC there, or transistor I should say, 3-041 and K9140 was probably the manufacturer time date 91, just guessing. 3-041. It's got a ferrite bead under it, looks like, but Maybe I'll take it out. I don't see if the legs are eaten in too. I need to clean up under it anyway. I was looking to see if it was orientation was marked. That'd be kind of hard to get it wrong, but all right, she's free. I can keep up. Okay, ferrite bead is still on there. It has started working on the legs there. I need to clean that up real well. Hopefully that's still good. Look at the schematic. I can see what that is. All right, now I think we're at the point of could use some alcohol and some Q-tips, maybe some cotton swabs. And looking at how far this stuff has traveled, I see some kind of a oily sheen all the way over to the edge of the board. Most of it's right there. This bridge is kind of covered. I may have to end up taking it out to get underneath it, because that stuff will just keep eating at those legs over time. Let me get some cleaning materials and we'll get to it. All right, I got some stuff, some cotton swabs, some alcohol, paper towels, miscellaneous stuff. I need a better alcohol dispenser is what I need, I suppose, but yeah, that's that smell I thought I smelled. It has made a mess. I guess I'm lucky. That's the only one that's thrown up. The area under that transistor looks rather corroded. I still see a trace going to it though, so it didn't totally get through the trace. Okay. Nasty stuff. I've only seen one electrolytic blow up before. I mean, it was a TV I was working on at the time, and switching regulator circuit of some kind, but it was a TV and it was not regulating, so I'm not sure what voltage went across that capacitor, but it went off and the top shot off like a shotgun, and there was like paper confetti raining everywhere. So that was my one experience with an exploding capacitor. Haven't seen another one. At least didn't get to witness. I got to witness that one firsthand. And that will scare you if you're nearby when it goes off. This other capacitor, I'm wondering. Yeah, 33835. I can't tell if this stuff underneath it came from the other capacitor, but you know, I'm probably going to replace both of these because they're the same type, they're the same age, and if one of them is bad, the other one is probably close to it. So I'll do some more cleanup, and I'm probably going to take off this bridge rectifier here so I can get up underneath it real well, and we'll see how the cleanup goes. And I probably don't have any 330s. I think I've got several 470s at 50 that I may throw in there just for a test, because of course I want to see if there's more to it or not. So when I'm ordering parts, I can order whatever else it needs, but I got a feeling that may be all of it. And I still got to check this Q2, whatever I did with it, there it is, and see if it's still good. Let me just do that right quick, like I'm just curious. Haven't looked at the schematic yet to see if it's PNP, NPN. What is it? Let's see here. 6/10. I can't remember what this pinout would be. So this does look nice. I gotta take this ferrite piece off and clean underneath there. I think I'm reading through my fingers. It's hard to catch these things. What I need to do is put it in my vise and quit chasing it. So I finally bought me a vise some time back. You get tired of chasing components across the table. Alrighty. So that's obviously the collector because it's tied to the frame. Hope that's still in the shot. So, base collector, base emitter. Okay. And collector emitter. So I'm going to say it's an NPN. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's a PNP. Just notice where my leads were. PNP transistor. That is fine and healthy. Just needs a good cleanup. Good deal. All right. I realized I did not have that in the shot earlier. Let me do this again with it actually in the frame. Let's see. I've cleaned it up now. It looks a lot better. Let's see. This was base. This is the collector tied to the frame, 6/10. And this is a base emitter, 0.62. And we'll go collector emitter open. Okay. So she's a good transistor, a good PNP transistor, excuse me. And that hopefully is good. I don't have to find a replacement for it because it has kind of an odd number. So let's do some more cleaning. At least that's good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this other capacitor and I didn't have it on camera. As I was unsoldering it, I didn't quite get it done. As I was unsoldering it, just smoke came off of it because there was electrolyte around that pin, making that awful smell when I heated it up. So it's got to be bad. Doesn't quite want to let go yet. You always want to hold on. Okay, she came loose then. Yuck. That's nasty. Oh yeah, this pin is looks like it's been eaten away partially. Maybe it just looks that way, but it does not look right where the pin enters the bottom of the capacitor. It's like there's a gap there. So, more cleaning. And I still have not removed that bridge. It's got to come out though, because there's electrolyte everywhere. Okay, let me get the bridge off. Well, I guess I could just do it on camera. I was looking to see if it had markings on it because I always worry about getting the orientation right, because once you take it out, then you're like, how is it turned? And I see it's marked. I see a plus mark on the board, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything. I can barely make out a plus on the top of the bridge. So maybe I can get her back in there right. I've got like a 50-50 shot. Let's see if I can only find my screwdriver when I'm looking for it. I don't want to prowl out much, but I just want to give it a slight. Nope. I'm not going to try to bust it off of there. Nope, one side's loose, but it looks like it's got a good bit of solder on both sides of the board, so it's going to take a little bit of heat to get it loose. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting that sizzle sound every time I heat one of these pins up. It's like burning off the electrolyte. Okay. Oop, all the pins are wiggling. What do we have now? And we are out, and we have yuck. We got a bit of a mess up underneath there. I'm glad we took it out. I need to look real close at those pins on that bridge to make sure there's nothing, the pins aren't eaten through or something. I'll give them a close look. Not sure if you can. Let me give you a better shot of what's up under this bridge. Okay, there you can see what was underneath the bridge. It definitely needed to come up. Definitely need to get that off the board. So we'll get it cleaned up good. Let me take a look at those traces. Maybe there's no really bad damage. Okay, I want to give you a shot of this pin, this transistor right here. This has turned into, you know, charcoal. It's been, I'm guessing it's been conducting over to ground here. I'm guessing that's ground. It could be one of the power rails, but that pin has been definitely conducting over to it. So I'm having to scrape this out, and I'm probably have to do some resistance checks and see if I've got it cleared. I don't know, but anyway, so that has been cooking there for a while. Just wanted to give you a little progress report here on the cleanup. I decided to go ahead and take off this. There's a long capacitor here that it was right in the path of all that electrolyte, so got it out. We'll go ahead and clean that up. And underneath it, it's looking pretty good. I need to show you the area underneath that transistor Q2 was charred pretty good, like I showed you, and I've cleaned it out and dug it out to where the point is. I think I've got nothing but clean fiberglass now. I'll give you a close-up view here in a second of that. Just wanted to show you that it was underneath this capacitor, it was underneath the bridge, but the only charring I've seen was up under that transistor, which may have some high voltage on it. I don't know, maybe not. The capacitor's rated at 35 volts right there by it, so of course the supply goes up to 120, so who knows what's on that. I have not looked at the schematic yet, haven't really had to. It's just been remove component, clean underneath board. But let me give you a close-up view of the cleanup of that transistor pad. Here you can see where I've had to scrape and clean and dig down right in here. It was corroded. It didn't go all the way through the board. The other side of the board looks fine, but it went pretty deep. And I kept scraping till I had nothing but, you know, clean-looking fiberglass. So hopefully I've got it all. Hopefully. Well, I was debating about whether or not to try to scrape off this protective coating here, the solder mask, to get to that dark area on these traces, and I just touched it and it just popped right off. So it kind of made the choice for me. So I'll have to scrape this off, and because it was along the edges of it, I don't know if you could see it earlier, it was dark, like it had wicked, I guess starting up under here, had wicked its way around this trace. It was, the edges of it were dark, which makes you think that electrolyte's gotten under there and it's going to keep eating on it if you don't get it out from under there. So anyway, I will go ahead and just take this off and clean it as best I can there, and hopefully I'll get it all. Well, the cleanup is done. I've reinstalled the components I took out. There's this capacitor here, tilt where you can see it, that green capacitor there. This bridge, both these capacitors, and this transistor. I had some 470s at 50 Nichicons. I had a ton of them left over from a previous project, so I put those in there. I don't know if I'll leave them in there or not. They should work fine. They're a little bit taller, but space isn't really a problem there. The pin pitch, I mean the leg spacing was the same, everything, so they went in nicely. I did clean up a little bit even on the back side. It looked clean, but when I was desoldering things like this bridge, there was that sizzle, which told me there was some electrolyte there. It had that smell. So I did clean up on the back side a little. And on the top side, I did have to scrape off some of the coating here and over here as well. Some may not be able to see it, but anywhere I saw what looked dark up under the solder mask, I scraped that off and cleaned it real good with alcohol. So we are at a point of testing, and I think I'm actually going to put it on a variac and bring it up slow this time. You know, maybe less than the amount of smoke. We are at the moment of testing here. I think I've got everything in the frame. We're plugged into the Variac this time. The power switch is on, and I'm going to bring it up slowly and see what happens. It's 20 volts, 40. I see some LEDs lighting up. 60, 80. Hey, the display is working now at 80 volts, and we're only showing 3 volts output, which is better than it was earlier at 155 or something. We'll bring it on up to, there's 100. The display looks nice and bright there. Let me just see if this voltage adjusts now. Yeah, I think we're, yeah, it does. It's real. That's a multi-turn pot. Very nice. Okay, and we're down to, that's the end of its travel, and we're just barely into -4/10. So let's see what we're putting out here if we could. This is kind of encouraging. I've only got 100 volts in right now. Let's see. Yep, looks like the indication is right there. Not sure if you can read that. Let me get the light on. Okay, let's see if we can bring her up. Seems like too fine of a resolution here. I'm afraid there's still a problem. Yep, there's maximum, and we're at 2 volts. I'm at the end of that travel. Nothing is smoking, but that's not right. I'm going to run it back down to minimum. I guess what I should do, I should actually give it 120 just to make sure, but I think you should do better than that. We'll give it 120 and see what happens there. I don't think it's going to make any difference. No, I've traveled a long ways on this pot. That's wide open. So, not even 2 volts. Well, maybe if we climb. Okay, I'm going to turn it back down. And I'm going to try the other range. Just see if that makes any difference. It seems to be even worse. Even worse. Yeah. 3/10, 4/10. Okay. Oh wait, I see the constant current light is lit. Ooh. Maybe the constant current, maybe the current just turned all the way down? Ah. I guess it was always at its end of its travel. And now I see constant voltage lit. What do we have now? Okay, now that's better. That's better. I didn't notice the constant current light there. Now we're talking. Good. Okay, this is going to be the 120 volt range, I think. All right. All right, we're back in current limiting again. I'm going to adjust that. I'm not sure why that keeps. She still doesn't seem to have the range she should. Notice the lights going on and off as I turn it. Let me back it back down and try the other range. Okay. So with the button pushed in, that's the 1/4 amp range, which should be the higher one, the 0 to 120. Okay, well maybe that's why I was only going. Yep, we've got it. 140. I think it probably needs to be calibrated. I'm thinking that can be adjusted the range, but maybe not. Still have not looked at the manual, at the schematic. But that looks encouraging. I wonder why. I guess I just carried it too far on the other range. It's only supposed to go to 60 volts. And I tried to go beyond that. And really, as long as it goes to 60 without shutting down, I mean, that's all it's supposed to do. There you go. So I think we have a working supply. I need to do some tests with it, I guess, and make sure it will actually deliver a load. But, well, I think that was a lucky thing. No real burned components, just some nasty electrolytic leakage and resulting damage, but nothing major. So I think we're in good shape. I will do some more testing. Not sure what this does. I have to read the manual. Plus and minus. But I think she's fully functional. I'm very happy. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a lot quicker than I thought it was, but at least it wasn't, you know, a blown fuse or something like that. There's nothing real simple. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it at all, just please give me a thumbs up. Thank you.